Hello everyone, and thanks for coming to my channel and checking out this video. It's been a while since I've done any sort of feature video or unboxing, and in front of me I've got the S.H.Figuarts Street Fighter Vega figure. So Vega is his Japanese name. We in the West will know him as M.Bison, or Dictator as his universal name. So this is basically the final boss of Street Fighter 2, the psycho guy. So this is a web exclusive in Japan, so hence the brown shipper box. If you don't know what the brown shipper box is, it's similar to what any other S.H.Figuarts will have. So whether it's Dragon Ball or Star Wars, if it's a web exclusive in Japan, it should come in this brown box. It's a very plain box. It would just have the name of the character in there, barcode, and that's basically it. So even on all the other sides it's relatively plain, and then another barcode. So let's get this thing open. As you can see, the tape is still sealed, so I'm going to slice that open and show you the actual packaging of the figure itself. Okay, so here's the actual packaging of the figure itself. So it's very consistent with the other Street Fighter figures. So this is number 11 in this series. So you can check my channel for all the other figures in this series as well. I've got every single one, and I've covered and done unboxings of every single one of them. So yeah, it's pretty consistent with that. This one does change the branding back to Street Fighter 5. And then yeah, you've got the window display of M.Bison there, or Vega, Dictator, however you want to call him. The optional faces on display, extra pair of hands, and then the effect piece for his hands, I'm assuming. What I did notice straight away though is you don't have any Shadow Law emblem, or Shadow Lu, however you want to pronounce it, on his cap or on his belt. So they've gone for a plain look. To be honest, I actually can't remember if Street Fighter 5 it's plain. I don't think it is, but I'll have to double check that one. So it's a shame they've kind of skimped out on that bit, because that would have added a little nice touch to it. But so far it looks pretty decent. Within the packaging, I actually didn't realize he was going to be this tall. He's a bit more on the taller side. I'll measure him when I take him out of the box. But otherwise, yes, it's the same as the other kind of Street Fighter packaging. You've got the Tamashii seal there. On the side, you've got number 11 Vega, Street Fighter 5 logo. On the reverse side, you've got some photos of the figure 2, some information on the fighting body mode that they use, some character stats, and then the usual kind of stuff at the bottom. So looks pretty good so far. Other side uses a picture of the figure itself instead of the artwork. I prefer if they just stuck with the artwork and kept it consistent, but there you go. Again, it says Vega because this is a Japanese figure, so that's his Japanese name. If it ever comes out in the West, then I'm probably going to switch to M.Bison. But yeah, that's it. So Vega or Dictator. So let me get this open. I'm going to play around with it, and then I'll kind of run through the figure and give you my opinions on it too. And here is M.Bison out of the box. Now, just like the other S.H.Figuarts figures, he doesn't come loaded with a lot of optional parts, which is a shame, but we'll go into that in more detail. So let's just run through the figure first. So like the other S.H.Figuarts Street Fighter figures, he does come with a cardboard backdrop. It's very, very plain, simple. I don't really like these. Comes in two parts. This is his Thailand stage from Street Fighter 5. The card feels a little bit different, a little bit softer than it has done in the past, but I still don't like it. And then onto the figure itself. So before I go through the figure itself, actually, I mean the parts. So he comes with a pair of extra hands, like so. So these are his open palm hands, which are going to be used for a lot of his attacks and holding onto the effect pieces. There's quite a bit of shading on these hands and just overall on the figure. So that's usually not always been the case for a lot of these S.H.Figuarts figures, like Blanco, for example. It didn't have too much. So it's nice to kind of see that M.Bison's got some shading going on with his hands. So those are pretty good. Then he doesn't come with any other hands apart from the fists already attached to him. Comes with a pair of extra arms. So these are just kind of fold over, so they come in two parts. You have to kind of pull off the entire arms and then feed them back in. I'm still not convinced by them, because I feel like over time that's going to screw up the joints, meaning that they'll just loosen up. But basically, once you do apply them, they just kind of clip together in a mold like so, and that's really it. I will show you that anyway, but it's okay. It's for limited use anyway, but he does that a lot in the game. I also should show that he has some shading going on with the sleeves here, which again is a good thing, because again, the previous S.H.Figuarts Street Fighter figures didn't have a lot of shading going on. He comes with an extra face, so you see the default face here is just his regular angry expression, and then he comes with his psycho smile. This is okay. The eyes are not bad, the plain white pupils, it's not bad. I feel the smile though could have done a little bit of outline work on them, or some gum work, because this is just way too Colgate Smile white. And it really stands out. It's obviously going to be worse because I'm kind of really looking at it and it's in my face, but yeah, I think this could be a little bit better. But that's his extra face, and then he comes with these effect pieces. Sadly, again, he doesn't come with a lot when it comes to extra parts. Vega was still is the best one with the fence, so he just comes with a little bit of psycho effect pieces. This is something that he can hold. So I'll show you this right now. So each one applies to a different pair of hands. Just kind of twist it and line it up. It usually says which one's for which. So this is a right hand. There's a little R molded to the bottom. You usually have to play around with it a little bit to try and align it correctly, otherwise it won't fit, and I think that's how it's done, like so. Looks like it. Something like that. No, I did it wrong. Let's carry on with this. It takes a bit of time, like I said, but you can do it eventually. There we go. So it just kind of sits in like that. Took a bit of time, but yeah. The grip isn't so strong, so it might fall off, so you might want to squeeze the fingers a little bit. That's only going to help you a tiny amount, but you can probably figure out a way to kind of get a more secure hold depending on how you want it. If he's just going to hold it upright like this, then it's not a problem, but if you want it positioned horizontally like he's doing a Psycho Blast or something, then you might want to play around with it a little bit more. But that's basically how that effect part works. Then going into the actual figure. So the figure doesn't look too bad. There are some issues I have with it, but overall it's not a bad figure. I mentioned when I did the package showing that this is more based on his Street Fighter 2 look, which is still true. I mean, because this is kind of his Street Fighter 2 suit that he wears. Street Fighter 5, his default look is with the gown look, which is a shame because I just think going the classic look is just a bit too easy at this point. And when they've done a lot of effort to redesign some of these characters with a more updated look, just use them. Akuma was a problem, Blanca was a problem. I think another one was a problem where we just wasn't, Ken actually was another problem where we just got the old Street Fighter 2 look, and that's kind of boring when we've got some really cool looks for Street Fighter 5. So like I said, Street Fighter 5, he has a slightly different outfit. It's a bit more, the red is different too. It's a gown, and of course his hair is white in Street Fighter 5. So it's something I should have pointed out in the beginning. So I hope they kind of do that later on. If you do actually really want that, then you can probably get the Storm Collectibles one. Anyway, I digress a lot, so let's carry on with this figure. So overall, it does look decent. There's a lot of shading going on. You can kind of see around a lot of the muscle areas, so like his biceps, his arms, his abs, his chest, going down to his pants as well. There's a lot of shading going on. I think at first I wasn't so keen about it because it just felt there was a bit too much in concentration happening in certain areas, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's not bad. I guess my eyes have adjusted to it, and it probably looks better on like when it's not in my face, is the best way to put it. So yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I did mention as well though, I am disappointed they didn't put the insignia here or on his belt. That would have just added a nice detail, but a really like standout detail for him. So it's a shame they didn't do that. And then I'm going to quickly go back to the suit again. If they even had additional pieces like the Storm one to give him the skirt piece for his Street Fighter 5 look, or even just a cape, that would have been really cool. In fact, I've got a cleaning cloth here, and I'm just going to kind of show you and illustrate just how dope this guy would look just by putting a cleaning cloth behind him. Right? It's not the most professional thing, but this guy needed a cape. Like, they should have just given him a cape. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I keep digressing. So let's go into the articulation of the figure, and I'll show you a little bit more details of the overall look of the figure as we go down as well. So head-wise, he can look up like so, get a bit of gap at the neck, and then down. Down is a little bit limited, I find, but it's possible. Side to side, and then looking left and right. The shoulders are on little pegs, so they can kind of move like so. They do come off, and they might come off quite easily for you. Hopefully not, but it gives him a little bit of clearance to lift up his arms, like so, and they kind of pull out a little bit. Kind of show you that as best as I can. There's no cut on his bicep, which I really would prefer. So let me show you the swivel there. There is a swivel there, but I still prefer having the additional cut on the bicep just because it kind of gives him that extra range of motion and looks a bit more natural in certain poses. It's not a must, but I feel it would have benefited Bison. Then we've got the elbow that goes like that. There's no twist at the gauntlets, just only at the wrist here. There's not too much up and down motion he can do with this because of the fat kind of cuffs. So you're going to be a bit limited there. A bit like Ryu as well, but it is what it is. Going down then to torso, crunching like so. So it's okay, he can get his double knee press pose pretty decently. He's going to have to stand for that. Leaning back, twist there, lower twist like so, and then tilting side to side is pretty good. So he's not bad when it comes to that kind of area. The skirt here you can see is separate right there. It's a bit loose there, in a good way. Then his legs do not pull down, but they do twist at the top there, and then they come up around that much. It's a soft plastic at the skirt bit, so it's not going to hinder his movement as much as you might think. And then backwards like so, and then the knee bends like that, which looks pretty good. This doesn't move, it just stays as it is. And then down to his ankle. His ankle is interesting because I don't really like this kind of joint, typically speaking, and I'll explain that. So I'll just show you quickly first. You've got a ball joint in there, and it gives him enough clearance. If you lift this up just a little bit, this is on a peg too, on the top of his foot, gives him a little bit more clearance, and he's got the toe hinge there. Yeah, I really don't like this joint on the Play Arts figures or the Bring Arts figures. I just find it really badly executed, but here, I don't know, S.H.Figuarts Bandai have done a good job of combining both the ball joint at the ankle and then this other joint that I don't normally like. So actually, yeah, it's a good way to do it. I don't know if I prefer it still over traditional ball, but it's, yeah, pretty good. I think that pretty much covers the articulation for Bison. So changing his face, you can just pull off his face like so, and then swap it with the other one. If you want to remove the head, you can, and it might even pop off because you can see there's limited range you can move back. So if you move back too much, the head just kind of pops off. One thing I did want to point out was actually back at his boots, the detail on the underside, which looks quite good. Just something I thought I might miss out on. So that's how you change his face. Changing his arms, then you can take the shoulder pads off if you really want to. I'm going to leave them on for now. If they come off, they come off. Just pull the joint there, so that one's gone. Take off the arm, and then I'll do the same with the other side actually. Might as well show you both. Like I said, I'm not too convinced this is going to keep the joints secure for a long time. They do sometimes like click in, sometimes they don't. But yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of concerned that doing this too much is going to affect the joints quite badly, negatively, which means that when you go back to the regular arms, you might not get a secure fit in the future, and that's going to be really, really quite bad. Okay, so let's reposition this arm so it lies on his chest, and then align this up. There we go. Put that back there, and then we'll grab the other one. You can see the hole there. They are marked, so this one says R, so you won't, you shouldn't mess up the shoulder that it goes on. Put it back on the peg. Yeah, clicked. And then get these right so he doesn't look like scrawny and has small shoulders, because Bison shouldn't have small looking shoulders. He should really look menacing and, you know, strong. But there we go. That's how you swap the arms, and yeah, it's really that simple. I've shown you the Psycho Effect pieces as well. Let's kind of get him back into some pose. Let's do his double knee press, which is really just a basic, simple one leg up and then one leg kind of like that. When I say double knee press, scissor kicks, however you want to call them, basically that's it. It's quite a simple pose. You can make it more elegant. I've just kind of shown you very, very quickly. If you're going to do the head stomp, you know, that's just him, just boop. You know, very, very simple. If you have a stand, again, S.H.Figuarts don't really come with stands. This one doesn't. So grab a stand and then you'll get him into his flying or floating poses. If you've got effect pieces, this is going to make this figure stand out a lot more. Psycho Crusher, you can do that, but I'm going to have to swap the arms, but you can do that. But let me just show you the limited range of this arm. So let's assume it's like that. You can't go too much before the hand pops off. So that's a bit of a shame, but you can get some range. So you can do the Psycho Crusher if you really wanted to, but again, if you have effect pieces to go with this, not just the ones that come with it, you can get this figure to look really, really stand out. But yeah, this is pretty good overall. But my main gripes are that it just kind of misses the whole SF5 sort of vibe and look to it. I just think, like, you know, we kind of deserve a bit more of that Street Fighter 5 look. White hair, he's been in a JoJo pose there. White hair, and you know, the new outfit would have been really, really cool. Even if they did, you know, they did decide to give us this. Even if that was the case, throwing in a cape option would have been very, very cool. It's a simple accessory, simple optional part that they could have just thrown in quite cheaply. But you saw I just had a cleaning cloth, and that was pretty easy to do. You can probably just sew one yourself very, very easily. Just something simple that really makes the figure like pop a bit more. And right, you can see Ryu and Bison standing next to each other. Ryu is the only figure I've got open from Street Fighter S.H.Figuarts. He's around 15 centimeters tall, so Bison I'm gonna say is around 16 centimeters tall. I've lost my measuring tape, so I can't measure it at the moment, but it's around that much. You can see the frame difference as well. Bison is more hench, a bit more tonk, which is good. I prefer Bison to look a bit more tonk. I don't really like his Street Fighter 2 slim build. I prefer, his Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter Alpha, more hench look. That's my personal preference. I know some people don't like that. Some people prefer, different things. But that's mine. Overall, though, I do like the figure. It's not an amazing figure. I think they could have made it better. I've gone over those a couple of times now. Whichever one you decide in terms of manufacture, whether you go with this one from S.H.Figuarts or you go with Storm Collectibles, it's really up to you. The pricing is quite different and the scale is completely different as well. Storm's collectible figures are much, much larger in scale, but those are more true to Street Fighter 5 designs, whereas here we're getting a bit of a hodgepodge of things, whereas it might be Street Fighter 5, then it's Street Fighter 2, then it's something that's not really either. So it's a bit confusing. I feel like Capcom are confused on what direction they're telling Bandai to go with. So yeah, those improvements that I wish were there aside, I do still hope they carry on doing this line. Sagat is coming out soon, so there is that. I'm kind of hoping for them to kind of be a bit more adventurous now, kind of shift away from Street Fighter 2 and hopefully go towards some other kind of characters that still exist within the Street Fighter 5 universe or Street Fighter universe. So someone like Guy, I really, really love Guy. I love his design, would be quite good. If they want to really go with something like Street Fighter 5, then Zeku could be an option. Menat would be a really, really awesome figure to kind of get done. Very popular character, really, really unique design. Getting Menat would be very cool. Karen is also one of my favorite Street Fighter 5 characters and characters in general. So I'd love to see that happen. But I feel that this line and Street Fighter lines, no matter who makes them, too many people play it safe too much. So be a bit more adventurous is my thoughts on this. Anyway, if you do love Street Fighter and you're only collecting one line and it happens to be this like me, then yeah, get Bison. I think he's probably gone up in price. I got mine for around 7,000 to 8,000 yen including shipping, but I believe he's probably around 9,000 to 10,000 yen at least, including shipping now. So it's not too much different, hopefully not, but a little bit more different. Anyway, I've covered Bison. If you want to see the other Street Fighter figures, do check out my channel for the rest of those. Remember, this is number 11 and I think Sagat is number 12 then. And I'm going to cover him too. Check out my channel for all these other figures and more, and I'll cover Sagat too, and there'll be more unboxings coming soon. Thank you very, very much for watching and spending all this time and flicking through whatever it is. If you like this video, do leave a like. It helps with the YouTube algorithms and all that mumbo jumbo. It just really helps basically if you don't understand that either. Just leaving a like very much helps me out. Check out my channel too, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace out.